In the gray dawn of November 29th, 1943, the city of Bremen lay silent beneath a steel sky that trembled with anticipation. Above, an armada of over 300 American B-17 flying fortresses carves wide, determined paths through the chill air, their engines humming in tight, synchronized harmony. They are not alone up there. Each plane carries its own little world, its own crew, fears, and hopes. But within Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, a particular brand of tension simmers. The men, bundled into uniforms and heavy jackets, grip their stations tensely, every heartbeat counting down those last 10 minutes to the target. At the very back, 21-year-old Eugene Moran, sharp-eyed and wiry, sits hunched in the narrow, frigid tail compartment. His world is a small glass bubble, encased in armor, commanding a twin set of 50-caliber machine guns that are at once his shield and sword. He's the last line of defense, the one who must spot and stop whatever horrors might come shrieking from behind. With every breath, he tastes the electric blend of nervous sweat and engine oil. His hands, gloved and steady, hover over the gun triggers, ready for whatever might bring. But a word split the tension like lightning. "Bandits! 12 o'clock high!" The shout cuts through the monotony, turning every muscle taut in panic and readiness. Suddenly, the enemy is there. Sleek, angular shapes, Bf-110 attackers, descend out of the sun in deadly dives, unleashing volleys of unfamiliar 21 Saint mortar rockets that Saint. More fighters came, Bf-109s and the dreaded FW-190. Butcher birds. They tore into the formation like wolves into sheep. Flak exploded in dirty bursts of smoke and steel, shaking the fortress with every blast. Still, the crew held on. "Bomb bay doors open! Bombs away!" The plane lurched upward, relieved of its deadly cargo. The formation turned for home, but home was still far away. Just as the crew breathed their first sigh of hope, the call came again. "Bandits! They're back!" The sky darkened with enemy silhouettes. A second attack had begun. Gene kept firing, empty shell casings piling around his feet. A flash, and another. His rounds hit something. Maybe a kill? He had no time to celebrate. Suddenly, Rikki-Tikki-Tavi slowed. Gene could feel it. They were slipping out of formation. "Langley, what's going on?" No answer. "We're being pushed out." Who said it? The pilot? The co-pilot? No one knew, but the meaning was clear. The German fighters descended like vultures. One round pierced the ball turret, and Gene heard the scream of his best friend, Wilbert Pee Wee Provost. "Mo, he's coming up at us!" The next moment was a blur. Gene's guns found their mark. A Messerschmitt exploded into smoke, but it was too late. Pee Wee's voice went silent. Then, a strange moment of calm. A Bf-109 pulled alongside the tank. The German pilot didn't fire. He pointed to Gene, then pointed down. A signal. "Jump. Bail out." "I'll let you live." Gene hesitated. Were the others dead? Should he jump? Before he could decide, a gun fired from the B-17. Someone else was still alive. The German vanished. And all hell returned. The tail of the bomber exploded in a storm of bullets. Gene was thrown to the floor, his guns jammed. His arms broken. Still, he crawled back to his position. With everything he had left, he got one gun to fire. More bullets struck. His chest, his ribs, agony. The Rikki-Tikki. Tavi shuddered in its death throes. Gene could feel it. The plane was going down. Then, a tearing sound. Gene looked down. The floor beneath him was shifting. Whatever he could, as the main fuselage broke away. And the tail section, with Gene inside, fell from the sky. Elsewhere in the shattered bomber, navigator Jesse Orison was wrestling with the limp body of bombardier Donald Curtis. He forced a parachute onto his friend just as the nose exploded. Jesse was thrown out, glass ripping his legs, falling into the open sky. As his parachute deployed, Jesse looked up and saw the tail section spiraling downward. Little did he know, Gene was still inside. The fall lasted forever. Inside the spinning tail, blood clouded Gene's vision. The crushing force pinned him in place. Time bent. Pain screamed in every nerve. And then, an impact. The wreckage slammed into a forest. Somehow, impossibly, Gene was still breathing, broken, bleeding, alone. He crawled toward the light through twisted metal, out of the tail, out of hell. He collapsed onto the forest floor. Above him, the mangled tail section hung in the trees. Gene's arms were shattered. His skull, cracked so deeply he could feel the softness of his brain. He touched his head, barely believing he was alive. Then, voices. French, a miracle. Local workers and German soldiers carried him out. A Serbian doctor saved his life with a metal plate in his skull. But Gene's wounds went deeper than bones. In the POW camp, he screamed in his sleep, reliving the fall, the fire, the silence. Months later, Gene returned home. Only one other crew member survived, Jesse Orison. The rest were gone. Years passed. Gene rarely spoke of that day. But his friend, John Armbruster, wrote Tailspin, a tribute to a man who survived what no one should have. In a war of bombs and bullets, some stories fall through the cracks.